Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. And today I have my co-host, Barbara, here, the Queen. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
And the good news today is we basically get to have one of Barbara's really good friends on, somebody that she's known. I think Shauna told me this for the show, 25 years or something, that you two have known each other.
We have known each other. Okay, everybody, before I go into all of that, because that is part of the interview,
right?
Thank you, Johnny. Okay, we are continuing our Playboy Playmate series, and we're so excited to have one of my closest friends on today. And she is an iconic, one of the most popular Playboy Playmates of all time, Miss May 1996, Shauna Sand. Hi, Shauna.
Hey.
Hi, Barbara. Hi, Jonathan.
Hello.
Hi. So good to have you on.
I'm so excited to be on your show. I've done your show a few times now, and I'm always so honored, Barbara. You're my favorite person in the world and my friend since 1995, 25 years, Jonathan.
Wow. That's a long time, but I'm
know.
glad that Barbara can bring her friends on. I'm really glad that we can do that for her.
Well, yeah, especially since they're
Barbara.
Playboy Playmates.
Well, I mean that, but they are your friends, and I love the fact that you can bring your friends on. I love
They
that.
are, and the important thing here is that we find out what's going on with the person, because we make the Playboy Playmate, which is to most people very untouchable. We bring her to the show, and we show that she's real. There's a lot to these ladies. They're magnificent. And we're going to find out if I can find out something new about my good friend Shauna. But we're going to get into a lot of things. The very first question that I always ask is a question that I get more than any other question regarding being a Playboy Playmate. And that is, Shauna, how did you become a Playboy Playmate?
Okay, so I always wanted to do Playboy. It was a dream of mine, even as a little girl. I've always just felt really comfortable being naked, and
Wow.
I could walk around naked anywhere. I was super comfortable with my body, at the beach, and I would always get compliments when I would go to the beach. Even when I was 12 years old, people would tell me how, what a nice body I had.
Right.
So basically, that gave me confidence. But then when I was 14, I literally developed, and I got 34 double D natural boobs.
Wow.
So I was like, this is the perfect thing for Playboy. So
yeah.
my friend, this is perfect. So I was I had a little complex about my boobs for a while, because I had them at 14, and they were so big and real and gorgeous, and some people made fun of me, so I got over that. But
yeah,
my friend in Mexico owned Playboy, and I lived in Mexico when I was 15 for about a year. I was a dancer and did commercials and stuff over there, and I met the owner of Playboy Mexico, and he wanted me to do Playboy Mexico. But then I met Lorenzo, this ex-husband I had. Barbara knows Lorenzo. And,
yes.
and I asked him, I said, do you think I should do Playboy Mexico? And he goes, absolutely not. You should do Playboy America directly with Hef. And my mother said that she would disown me if I did Playboy Mexico. Otherwise, I would have done it a couple of years earlier, because I was 15 when they first offered it to me, but you have to be 18 to do it. But that's when they showed interest in me in Mexico. But basically, Lorenzo said, I know the editor, I know Hef. So he called Marilyn, the editor of Playboy at the time, in 1995. So I was 23 at that time. And they said they wanted to see my pictures, so I sent him, I had been a model, so I sent Marilyn a test, like a Z card from modeling, because I was modeling in France. and I was with a lead in New York and all these agencies. And then Lorenzo took in the morning at like 5 a.m. because he had to wake up and go to work, some pictures of me. I know I was at the Hilton Hotel in Los Angeles, like in the window. I had just woken up and I had no makeup on, just really sleepy, sultry photos. And they were Polaroids because that's all we had back then, and I didn't have time to develop the film. We didn't have phones. I didn't even have a phone till I was like 25. So basically, I sent the pictures in to Marilyn, the editor of Playboy, and she called me the next day and she said they loved the pictures and wanted me to do a test shoot. So I went straight to Playboy Studio West in Santa Monica over there, and I shot the pictures, and really, really soon, like a week or two later, Huff called me and said that they were absolutely in love with my pictures, and I had been chosen for Miss May 1996. But I shot the pictures. I was 23 right before I turned 24 in August of 1995. And
wow.
I was made Miss May 1996. They pushed my date of which month and year I was going to be, because they decided to do my whole layout on my wedding theme to Lorenzo, and we were engaged, and our wedding was set for April of 1996. So I was Miss May 1996.
Oh, my goodness. Wow, that's something that I had forgotten or maybe didn't realize. Wow, what? I got chills all over my arms because it's like the stars were really aligned for you. Here you are marrying a top actor and getting married and having it publicized. And then I'm sure you were able to monopolize on those photos. Were you able to do that with magazines and having the theme be married to Lorenzo Lamas in your Playboy centerfold, and then afterwards you had all of those photos? What happened after that?
Yeah, absolutely. We sold the exclusivity to the wedding to Ola and Hello Magazine, and they covered that. I do know during my wedding there were like helicopters trying to take long lens pictures, but Entertainment Tonight covered the wedding. I mean, it was a different time back then. We didn't have Facebook, we didn't have Instagram. Like a photo was worth a lot of money, you know. And,
that's fortunate.
Yeah, so I definitely capitalized on that, and Playboy was smart. I mean, they chose the wedding thing also to publicize my layout, which was a very special wedding theme, and I was in all like white lingerie and a wedding dress, and I had my beautiful engagement ring, and so it's just a beautiful fairy tale story, and I've had nothing but such beautiful experiences working with Playboy and going to the mansion and meeting beautiful Playboy playmates, and you could never have too many Playboy playmates or Playboy playmate friends, but Barbara is my all-time favorite.
Oh, we sure have had a lot of fun together. We continue to do so, and so many memories. And someday we'll get together. We'll get a memory book, and we'll have that forever. But you are one of my most favorite playmates and friends as well. And it's just been absolutely wonderful. But I have to go back a little bit and rewind. When you said that your mother was going to disown you if you did Mexican Playboy, did anything change after a few years and then you were engaged and the whole Playboy thing came up again, American Playboy, the Playboy to do? And what happened then? What was her attitude at that time?
Not good, but she was furious at me for years. And, you know, it was funny because I went to Paris and I got a tattoo, and she said she would disown me, and I came back with this little rose at 18 on my shoulder, and she was mad at me for a little bit, and then she goes, oh, I want a tattoo. I want a rose. I want the same tattoo as you. And I thought, okay, that's nice for torturing me and tormenting me all these years and telling me you're going to disown me and not pay for my university in Paris, you know.
Oh, she held that over your head.
Yes, she held that over my head for years about a tattoo. Then she did the same thing for Playboy. And she was furious when it came out and I was getting so much attention, and I'd already graduated university at that time. So I already had my degree in international business from the American University of Paris, and I already spoke French. So it was like, what can you do to me now, you know? But
right.
I don't think that she would have followed through with those threats anyway. And it's like, when you have a beautiful God-given body, you need to show that off to the world and be proud of that. And I lived in Paris where you go to the beach without a top, you know? And It was a completely different mentality. I'm not into this prudish stuff. So basically, I'm very free-spirited. I could not stand up in front of a crowd and sing, but I could stand up in front of a crowd naked and be just fine.
I know. That is a wonderful
right?
thing that you were very okay with your body, and that is so healthy. And it is such a beautiful art form, I think, the woman's nude body, that I agree completely. Maybe deep down, I bet she was really proud of you. Deep down when she saw how it turned out, because for you it turned out really well. And what about your dad, though? And you have a sister, too, right? How did they react?
Well, let me just go back for a second. Like a year after I did Playboy, my mother said, okay, it's really beautiful. And she goes, can you call Hef and see if he'll do a layout with me? And I was like, okay, thanks, Mom. Here we go again, like tattoo deja vu, you know?
That is hilarious.
She actually wanted to be like pictorial after, or do like a mom-daughter thing after I got, you know, scrutinized for years. But
that
she
is
finally
crazy.
came around, and I know she was proud of me, and you know, so just honored for my accomplishments and all of that. So,
well, did you ever take them up to the? Sorry to interrupt, but did you take any of your family members up to the mansion? I think you took your dad, didn't you? Yeah.
I did. I took my dad to like a New Year's party, and he loved it. He was like in heaven. I couldn't even find him for most of the night. I don't know where he was. and then my mom, I took my mom all the time, like to the little movie nights and to different holiday celebrations. I took my mom a lot. So she had a great time, and it was such a family, you know, environment. I just loved it to go there. And it was just like, you know, so my father, he never said anything about my magazine. He's just more on the shy side anyway. My mother was the more opinionated woman, and he was just more shy and kept to himself. He never said anything to me about my layout.
What about your sister? What about your sister? And she was younger, because we've had some playmates that said that the younger sister was horrified by it because she would have to go to school and everybody knew that her older sister was in Playboy. So I'm wondering, did that happen with you?
No, because I moved out of my house when I was 14, and my sister's like 3.5 years younger. So I didn't take my Playboy pictures till I was 23, so my sister was 20, already out of school. So I didn't have that problem. You know, she never said anything to me about it, but I have not really had much of a relationship with her, unfortunately, so I really can't even answer that question.
Okay. So I always do go over how the family reacts to it, because people are always interested in that, and I didn't even know that about you, so that's good. So what was the biggest thing right after Playboy that you got because of Playboy as far as your career?
Well, I worked all the time. I mean, I really was known for, you know, that whole Playboy playmate, popular model, and that whole stereotype, which really worked in my favor, and it got me a lot of jobs. I did a ton of modeling jobs. I worked with you, Barbara, on Fredericks of Hollywood.
Right.
And
we did a lot of promotional work.
I did a lot of promotional work for Playboy. I worked all the time. I worked on TV and film as well. I did a few comedy shows. I really love comedy. I'm good at that. And
really? I never knew that. Wow.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
impressive.
really hilarious.
Well, I knew you were funny, but I didn't know that you ever actually did comedy.
I did a few TV shows back in the day. I did 2 years of Renegade. That's where I met Lorenzo. And then so I did 2 seasons in the 4th and the 5th season, 1995, 1996. Then in 1997, I did 16 episodes of a show called Air America, also with Lorenzo. He always kept me on a tight little rope and barefoot pregnant in stilettos.
Stilettos and pregnant, not barefoot and pregnant, but stilettos and pregnant. I know, and you were you were the cutest pregnant woman. She never even did gain weight. She just had the cutest ball of, I mean, nothing happened to your body at all. So lucky, because sometimes you never know, and you had children very young all throughout when you were trying to work and do TV shows, and I know that you said that you were offered a huge TV show in Italy. So weren't you pregnant and you weren't able to take advantage of some things because you were young and pregnant right after Playboy? Tell us about how that all worked out for you. How did you deal with that?
I was pregnant for in my prime, and my family was so important to me, and family was always my priority. I moved out of my house when I was 14, 15 years old, so I really wanted to create that little family and unity, and that was my priority over my career. And I still did both, but I focused, my priority was definitely my family and my children. So
well, now you have raised them. They're beautiful young women now. They have grown up to be absolutely wonderful young women with careers of their own, doing really well. So you've done a great job. Everybody's always said what a great mother you are. So that's wonderful. And you were able to keep the career going strong throughout, really. So that is amazing.
I did. I mean, I was fortunate because I was a professional ballerina in my early years. I think my body had muscle memory, so I was able to bounce back really quickly. Like, I played a stripper in a movie called, what was it called? I think it was called Good Cop, Bad Cop or something like this, when I was 4 months pregnant with Alexandra. So I actually, you couldn't even tell because what happened is when I got pregnant, my boobs just got huge. So I just looked like, perfect for the role of a stripper at 4 months. You couldn't even tell.
Wow.
And then once I had a baby, I went back to work. After a couple of weeks, my body bounced back. I had 3 C-sections, so I just had to wait till I could walk again. But that didn't take that long, and then I could just go straight back to work. But I did a lot of photo shoots when I was pregnant as well, and it was hard for the first 4 months because I would get so nauseous, but I was able to pull through it. I just had to eat Chinese food for the whole week, 24/7. Then I switched to Taco Bell, stuff like that. But
isn't that crazy? It's so crazy how we crave such crazy things when we're pregnant. Well, that is a wonderful story. And, I mean, Playboy has just opened so many doors, and you had a family behind you. Did you ever stay overnight at the Playboy Mansion? Because I know you were actually from San Diego, and then you were married to Lorenzo in the California area. So sometimes those playmates never had got to actually spend the night there. I was from living in Nashville, so I flew in and out all the time, spending the night there. And sometimes I think, wow, some playmates missed out on actually spending the night there. Did you ever do that? That's a weird question, I know. You did?
Yeah,
okay, good.
I spent the night there a lot, but I didn't spend the night there Well, the thing was is that I was married, right away or engaged. So they put me up in a hotel instead of, I was supposed to stay at the mansion when I was doing my shoot. But they put me in a hotel because I had a fiance and a husband and all of that. But I ended up, when I got separated from Lorenzo, I was still married to him. I started going out with Hef all the time because I was stir crazy. I just had 3 little babies back to back. Lorenzo was a control freak, and I couldn't go anywhere. And so I thought, I'll just go with Hef. That'll be so much fun. So he invited me to all these nightclubs when I was still married, and also for a long time after I was separated and divorced. I do
remember. That was a close group. Sorry to interrupt, but that was a close group of playmates and other girls that he liked, and I remember that really well because at first he was married to Kimberly. I'm not so sure when they split. When you were Miss May 96, what was Hef's status right then? Was he still married to Kimberly?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was married to Kimberly, and they had 2 little babies, or maybe one and then 2. One right after. I think so.
It was 2 because if I was Miss December 92 before you, I remember when I was shooting, I was having breakfast with these 2 little babies and their nanny and sometimes Kimberly, and one was just in a high chair. So they were like 1 and 2. So when you came along, they were still little toddlers. So you and I both saw how Playboy Mansion changed. And, were you not pleasantly surprised that all the fun parties came back with a vengeance?
No, I know. And I had so much fun when they got divorced because then I was able to also, go out with him, and I would go to clubs, and I stayed the night all the time over there. I spent Christmas there. That was just my second family, I took all my kids over there, too, when they were babies. My kids went to the Playboy Mansion every year since they were born to the Easter egg
I've
parties.
heard that there was a lot of Easter egg hunts, too, as well. Is that true?
A lot of what?
Easter egg hunts.
Oh, every year there was the most beautiful Easter egg hunt. I went there with Barbara a million times, and my kids have gone there every year since they were born. And it was so hard, like, over the past few years, not having that, family unity, because I would see all my playmate friends that had kids, and it was like a tradition, and it was so beautiful. And I literally cried on Easter for the last couple of years.
I know.
Missing those special times, right, Barbara?
Oh, yes, because if we had to do Easter on our own, it would never even compare whatsoever to what we got from Hef. And how sweet was that he cared that these are women. These are his playmates. He cared about their life. He cared about their family, their children. And he would do these special things for us because he had such the best heart. But we have those memories, and it is so sad that's over. And my daughter, too, all of your daughters, watched my daughter as she grew up as their babysitter sometimes. And so we all stayed really close, which was wonderful. But she said one year, I really miss going up to the Playboy Mansion, Mom. I mean, even our kids miss it so much.
I know, they really do. And it was so magical. I mean, he had, spent months preparing for it and having him and his staff hand paint, 10,000 eggs to put all over the garden for the Easter egg hunts and all through his grounds. And it was just such a magical fairy tale experience, with he brought in camels and so many incredible animals and all these little bunnies and chickens and llamas. And I think there was a giraffe one year, and it was just incredible with trampolines and a beautiful lunch and an open bar, which was dangerous.
Always open bar. Yes, and it was safe, though, because when we'd go up and party and kick our heels up at the Playboy Mansion, it was okay to get wild and fun and run around because we were safe with security guards, and if anybody bothered us, they were kicked out right away.
I have a question to the both of you, actually. My question is that, I've often thought that in the United States, the place where there is the most gathering of celebrities, which state has the most gathering of celebrities, I would say is California. And in California, I would say the city that has the most gathering of celebrities is Los Angeles. But I think within Los Angeles, wouldn't you both agree that the top place that usually there was a gathering of celebrities was probably the Playboy Mansion? I mean, when Hugh Hefner was alive?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you could go to a movie premiere, but and see celebrities, but you still had, the parties were full of celebrities and beautiful people, and definitely. I know.
But not only that.
Go ahead, Barbara.
But not only that, but they treated us differently when they were up at the mansion. It was like you said, everybody was family, and it's like you were rubbing shoulders with these celebrities, but they were like your friends. And who was your favorite celebrity that you either met up there or that you worked with in your career?
I met Leonardo DiCaprio there, and then he actually came to look at one of my houses when I lived in Los Feliz to buy it. So I would say I was the most starstruck with him and David Beckham, I guess.
Yeah,
back in the day.
He's very hot. Oh, yeah. Okay, so when you were married to Lorenzo, was it ever hard? Because all of these other celebrities and high-profile men must have really liked you. And was it ever hard being married throughout, like, the beginning of your fantastic career?
They respected that, and they wouldn't even come and talk to me or be out of line in any way. So,
that's good. Well, that's good. And plus, when they did your whole centerfold theme with your wedding dress, and Lorenzo was in a little picture there, then everybody really knew. So that was a kind of a protection, I would think. So that was pretty good. Plus, seems like Lorenzo was really good at having you on whatever project he was doing. He was very good about sharing the fame, and that could have helped you a lot too. Although you're obviously talented in your own right, but it seems like you had it made.
No, it was fun because he always put me in his projects as well because he wanted to take me close, and we had 3 little babies, and I know that I got the cover of Playboy Romania, and I was one thing that he wouldn't let me go because my mom is half Romanian. So I got the cover of Playboy Romania, and they wanted to fly me over there and have me do a new shoot and all of this, and he wouldn't let me go. And that's one thing that I really regret. That would have been something super special.
Okay, you're kind of cutting out a little bit. I don't know if you could get into an area where it's clear again. I did hear what you said. You got the cover of Romania, Playboy, and you were supposed to go travel, and he wouldn't let you. And that is the only regret. You wish that you would have just said, well, too bad, I'm going to go anyway. Is that what you said?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
In a nutshell, yes, that's better. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, but I was also going to say that I went out with Hef to nightclubs all the time when he had 7 girlfriends, and I had so much fun. And it was the same thing. Like, normally I couldn't go to a nightclub because I would get mobbed or bothered. When you went with Hef, you were so protected because you had so much security. You had a roped-off area. If we went to the bathroom, we weren't allowed to go anywhere by ourselves. We had to go escorted by a security guard. We went in a limo. We were taken home in a limo, so we didn't have to worry about drinking and driving or anything like that. We were totally taken care of and very safe. And I had so much fun doing that. And then I would sleep at the Playboy Mansion because it was safer. We had been to a club and it was late and had a few so I would just...
So I have a question for the both of you. What is the best day to go to the Playboy Mansion? I mean, day of the year. Is it New Year's Eve? Is it Valentine's Day? Is it Halloween? I mean, which would you say was the one that was the most memorable?
I would say I love New Year's Eve.
Oh, yes. It was
Barbara,
magical. I love the Midsummer Night's Dream.
Barbara?
I love the Midsummer Night's Dream. I loved it because I always felt great in the summer. It was around my birthday, the same month as my birthday. I always was in amazing shape. I loved picking up the lingerie to wear. I just felt like that was just my favorite fun time. But New Year's Eve, it was quite special and that was really the only time, well, not the only time. If you were with a celebrity or something, Hep would let your partner come up, but a lot of times they wouldn't allow us to bring our boyfriends, and I liked it because it was my time where I didn't have to worry about them, and I could just go and be free and just say, hey, well, you're not allowed up there, and I liked it. It was fun, but yeah, those were wonderful.
Midsummer Night's Dream was definitely more of a wild party versus and a lot more people versus the New Year's Eve parties were a little more elegant and calmer and not as crazy. But it was always fun celebrating the New Year at the mansion. To start the New Year there was just beautiful, and it was decorated so like a fairy tale and just beautiful.
Oh, it really was. And the balloons that came down right when it struck midnight, they came down from the ceiling, and then everybody was jumping. I think you're right. I think you are right when you say New Year's Eve, because that magical feeling when those balloons came down and everybody was hugging and kissing each other and jumping up and down and popping those balloons, that was the best moment right there.
I know. I miss those days. There's nothing that will ever compare to that, Barbara. And we were treated just like princesses. And, there's nothing that could ever compare to that. It was so lucky.
Didn't certain, the Playmates have palaces or something, like castles or something?
What?
Did they have what?
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but I thought that they had some of the Playmates had castles, like little mini houses out in the backyard or something. Is that? Am I thinking of something else? Or
I've never heard of that.
I want a castle in a backyard.
Me too.
No,
I have no idea.
Jonathan, what are you talking about? No.
Jonathan.
No, but that sounds great.
That's the craziest question I've ever been asked.
I honestly thought that there was something that where apparently we had this lady on, and she says, "Oh, it was a Playmate," and she says, "Yes, I was in one of the palaces, one of the many palaces in the backyard," and I was like, "Okay, did they
Maybe
give
she
you?"
had too many cocktails.
But I'm just thinking that actually makes it from one, just sort of here we have the Playmate, and we have Barbara's mini palace,
No, never. I have no idea what that is all about.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a different question. If you would like.
We know about the grotto. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. The grotto was a steamy little hangout, which it was kind of weird. I saw one of my agents/managers in the grotto once at a party, bottomless. And it looked like underneath the water, it looked like a little fishing bait, dangling there. And it just, that was not sexy to me. I didn't find it to be sexy at all, seeing that. Was there anything kind of crazy that you saw that stands out weird or kind of crazy that you ever experienced at the mansion?
You know what? I get asked that all the time, Barbara, and I never saw anything weird or anyone naked or anyone having sex. I never saw that at all at any of the parties.
Okay, that's good.
It was pretty G-rated over there as far as what I saw.
I think
that's
it'd be very
true.
I think it'd be very.
Yeah.
think it'd be very hard to do that because I would think that Hef probably had it designed, and I'm not saying he did this, but based on everything that I've heard, this is what he did. He made it to the point where the communication was pretty quick. Like if somebody saw something that was out of line, Hef would hear about it within minutes.
I mean,
well, yeah, but there was no rule.
Everywhere.
There wasn't any rules. Nobody said don't take your clothes off, but nobody really did. And I agree with you, Shauna. It was G-rated. So that was odd when I did see that. That was an odd thing. And I thought, well, who do you think you are coming up here and taking your pants off, weirdo? You know, that's kind of what I thought. Yeah, too.
Yeah.
I know who it is.
mean,
You probably do, too.
I mean, it's one thing for girls to walk around super sexy and topless, but I never saw anything strange or any weird sexual activities. Maybe they were in the bathroom behind closed doors and I didn't see that, but I mean, everybody was respectful and it wasn't wild like that. Maybe in the Hef's bedroom, that's a different story, but not during the parties.
Can you tell us what the bedrooms were like, the bedroom that you stayed in? Because, you know, there was a cottage there at the Playboy Mansion, and that's where they put most of the girls, and we would have these little twin beds, 2 in each room in the cottage, and there was only 2 rooms. And it was fun, and we'd have slumber parties, and we'd pack, 4 playmates were back there having so much fun while we're shooting different things. But I am feeling like maybe you stayed in the main house in a bedroom. Tell us about that.
Yeah, when I would hang out with the 7 girlfriends, I would stay in a room with like one of the girls. It was always in the main house upstairs. So I would stay sometimes with Renee, sometimes with Sheila back in the day.
Did you witness any drama with the girlfriends? Because they weren't all playmates. And when Hef separated from Kimberly, he tried to date many. I mean, he did come on to me, and he came on to Elkie, I remember, at the same time, and we thought, well, gosh, I've been a playmate for years, probably like 6 to 7 years now. I mean, I loved Hef, but I wasn't attracted to him in that way. But all the girls that were his girlfriends, that they wanted to be a Playboy playmate so badly, and sometimes he would make them wait a couple years, put their dues in before he would even make them a playmate. Was there drama at all that you saw between those girls?
Yeah, there were cat fights all the time, and he would get so furious. He didn't want any fighting, and he was old, and he couldn't, for health purposes too, he couldn't handle that,
Right.
So if, he would get really mad. I know that the girls would get in these cat fights, and he would get really upset, and he threw a few of them out. And they were just there because they wanted to be playmates, and all of that. But he, on a few occasions, he wouldn't put up with that, and he would throw them out.
I heard that, too.
He would just get a new one. I mean, he could just go to a club and get a new one in 5 seconds.
And that's what he realized. He realized that after a while. At first he was going for the playmation, and then he realized, hello, there's all these young girls out there that are gorgeous that want to be playmates. And then he went that direction. I remember on my 30th birthday, he came with the 2 first girlfriends, the Bentley twins and Brandy, to my birthday party, that was amazing. That was cool because for years, Hef never even left the mansion at all. You only saw him in his pajamas, right? And then all of a sudden, he's actually going places. He's going out, and he would come to events that you'd invite him to, and which was so cool, I thought. I mean, that made me feel really special that he came to my birthday party. And then now you took it one step further and started actually being a part of the caravan and the group that actually went out weekend after weekend in his Rolls Royce and went to all of the top clubs with the roped off area. And that is cool to hear about. Very cool.
Yeah, we would go every Wednesday, and we would go like every Saturday. So it was like a whole routine. And then sometimes we'd even go out to restaurants, which was really funny because he would bring his own food from the mansion to the restaurant.
You're
and
kidding.
I'm like, why don't you just order we're like at Ago, like a really nice restaurant in Los Angeles, and he would have his food brought in from the mansion, and I'm just like, don't you want to change it up, you know?
Yeah, no, I guess he loved his fried chicken.
Well, he was very set in his own ways. He was like, you know, I guess the sign Aries, they're very set in their ways and their patterns and their habits, and they want to keep everything the same. They don't like change.
That is true.
So,
I know another Aries.
That
is so true. I didn't think of that. Yes, that is crazy. I heard that chicken, fried chicken, and something else, mashed potatoes, I think was pretty much almost every night. He had to have that.
Yeah, and he literally would bring a sliced tomato to like a 5-star restaurant. And I was,
no way.
Yeah.
Funny.
And I'm like, well, this is crazy, but whatever makes you happy, you know? So it was funny because, you know, he could have ordered like a 5-course meal and at a 5-star restaurant, but yet he preferred to have his tomato brought in from the mansion.
Okay, let me ask you this question. What's the most fun that either of you have had with him?
Go ahead.
Well, I just loved going with him and dancing with him, and like I remember just standing on all the tables and just being so free and happy. And he was always such a gentleman and treated me with so much respect and love. And even at all the Playboy parties, I was always a part of his little table and group. I was always included, and I just loved it. They were just wild and fun and carefree. And
well, I bet he loved you. He loved you so much, not just because you were a beautiful playmate and talented and smart, but because you are not a troublemaker. You are not a drama person. You don't fight with the girls. You're the sweetest, with the best demeanor woman. One of the best demeanors I've ever come across. So super sweet. So he probably you're welcome, and he probably really appreciated that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was a buffer a lot of the times, you know, to calm these girls down because they were super catty, and I'm not a catty person. I'm not a jealous person. I think everybody's beautiful in their own way. But some of these girls just went like crazy. They were just so catty, and I really stopped a lot of fights for him, and he knew that I was more of like a solution finder. And I mean, it was different for me too because I didn't need to climb the ladder, you know, and I didn't.
Right.
I already had everything I needed and wanted, but even if I didn't, I wouldn't behave like a lot of those girls anyway. I'm just a different personality, a different breed.
Yes, you are. And, okay, besides me, okay, because you said I'm one of your favorite people and playmates, was there another favorite playmate that you really clicked with that became a really close friend?
Yeah, I really loved Christy Shake.
Mhm.
I've been texting her. I haven't been able to find her. I love Brandy. I just talked to Brandy this morning. We have a lot of like she does real estate, and I'm getting my real estate license for fun. And you know, she has kids, and Christy has kids too. I also love Cheris Boyle. I was just at her birthday party the other day. She has a son who my kids have grown up with at the little Easter egg parties. I love Carrie Stevens. So yeah, there's a lot of girls that are just sweethearts.
What about Priscilla? Remember we knew her a while back, Priscilla, and I thought you hung out with her a lot. What was her last name?
Yeah, Taylor.
Yes.
I love Priscilla, but I haven't spoken to her in so long. I don't know what happened to her.
Yeah, isn't it kind of crazy how some people just drop off the face of the earth, even right after being a Playboy playmate? I mean, it leaves more work for us, but nobody ever hears from them again. That's kind of crazy that they don't take advantage of it.
No, it's strange because Priscilla was a really good friend of mine for a long time, and then just lost contact with her. I wouldn't even know how to reach her. I never heard about her again. I have no idea.
Sometimes they just get married and they just say, hey, I've got this life now, and that's that. So that is cool. So you did say that you had one regret, and that is not making your own decision to actually travel when you were married because your husband didn't want you to go. Are there any other regrets? Would you have done anything differently with your career with Playboy or anything since you started out?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, I wouldn't have let myself get so controlled by another human being where I had to turn down so many opportunities, because there were a lot of other ones too. Many, many other opportunities that I had to turn down. So I would have had more of a balance as far as being an independent career woman and a family person and a mom, instead of just being a mom with a little career, you know? So I guess that's a regret that I do have. If I had to do it all over again, I would have focused more on myself as a independent woman. You know, I've raised my kids like that, to be independent, strong women, and they all have jobs and they all pay for their own rent and their own bills, and they live on their own, even, you know, at 18. Just super independent, not relying on a man.
They are wonderful.
Not letting a man control you. So I definitely would have changed that if I had to go back and do it again.
Well, good job with your mothering skills, because your children are so amazing. But you were an amazing child. Let's go back to that real quick, because it's not every day that somebody gets a full scholarship to go to a huge, beautiful college in Paris, and then later on you became fluent in French. Tell us a little bit about that, because that takes a special child to accomplish what you did.
Well, I was on a ballet scholarship when I was chosen when I was 12 to go to a ballet company called Ballet West in Aspen, Colorado. It was actually in Snowmass in the mountains. So I was on a full scholarship there for 2 years. So my whole family moved to Aspen, and I went to school there, and I trained in Snowmass, which has a high altitude level for my lung capacity. So coming from sea level going up there, it was really challenging, but then that was the best way for training and as an athlete. And then I was on the ski team over there. It was a great opportunity. And my family, we had been going to Aspen every year since I was little. So it was like my dad's dream to live there. So when I got the scholarship, that was just the perfect excuse to relocate over there. And it's so funny because I had a house and I lived on Snow Bunny Lane.
Oh, how cute. I remember that. And you know what? That is so adorable. And I just got chills again. It seems like, I said it before, all the stars were really aligned for you pretty much your whole life. And when we went to Aspen, your dad happened to be there when you and I were there skiing. And I was able to meet him, and we had a nice little lunch with some champagne. I met your dad. I mean, that was crazy, right?
Oh, yeah, that was crazy, too. In fact, we were supposed to be in Vegas tonight together, Barbara.
Oh, yeah, it was tonight. That coronavirus has really caused some problems, hasn't it?
No, I know. So Jonathan, Barbara, and I were going to be in Vegas tonight, and then the event got canceled, but we're going to go soon in October. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yes, we are.
So going back, that was when I was 12 and 13. I was on a scholarship, and then Tiny in New York. So I went there, and I modeled, and then I was in Mexico for a year dancing, and then I was in Tokyo on a modeling with a modeling agency when I was 17, and then I wanted to go back to school because I was a really good student, and so I applied to the American University of Paris in France, and I got accepted because I had a really, really good grades, although I left school when I was fairly young, high school, to go work. I wrote an incredible essay and gave them my grade point, average, and I got accepted. I went over there, and I studied international business and French. And that was a wonderful career move because I actually didn't even really use my business degree, but I did use my French. And I've been working on French TV shows since 2009. I'm still on a French soap opera over there in Paris right now in French.
Oh, wow. That is, you know what? That's wonderful. And I was going to lead into that too, because that is really amazing. So you have a lot of French fans, I'm sure, which elevates you even higher to be known.
Seen videos of you where you're talking in French. I think I've seen some, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I have her speak French all the time because it's just so beautiful, and it's amazing that you are fluent in that, and I'm glad that you have always kept that up. But did you feel like you could hand that down to your children? Did you ever try to speak French with them so that they could be fluent as well?
Oh, yeah. I took them to Paris, and I tried to put them in the French school in Los Angeles, but that didn't work out at the time. But I've taken them to Paris, and Alexandra was in French class, and I taught her to speak a little bit, and Izzy too. And I really want to take them there and just have them stay for basically a summer and just really learn the language because it's so beautiful. And my producer in France wanted to actually put my kids in a show, but they had to speak French. So my goal is to get them over to France, have them learn the language, and then maybe do a TV show in French.
Well, that is a big goal, but hey, that hasn't stopped you. Nothing has really stopped you from accomplishing anything. And it's wonderful to hear that you are going to be receiving your real estate license too. It's a whole nother chapter in life coming around.
Yeah, I'm doing that. It's a lot of work. I'm kind of scared because I've been going through a lot of other stuff I've had to deal with. So I have a crash course this weekend, like 15 hours a day, and then I get my license at the end of the month. I'm sure I'll do it. It's just a lot of studying. So I'm going to turn my phone off for a couple of weeks and just focus on that. So I'm excited because I love selling houses and I love real estate, and I've never really had one career. I've kind of dabbled and been a hustler in a lot of different areas. I had a shoe line. I did my little eBay, just acting, modeling, other things. So I think that doing the real estate would be a fun little side hobby as well.
Oh, yeah. They call it side hustles now. Did you know that? They have a whole podcast about trying to find your side hustles. And that's what we've done all of our lives. We always have a lot of different things we're doing. And you are a big money maker. You know how to make money. That is for sure. What is the biggest compliment that you receive from your fans?
Oh, Barbara, just to go back a minute, Barbara and I both have this new side hustle called OnlyFans that I just started mine 2 weeks ago, and Barbara helped me because people were asking me to do this OnlyFans for so long, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. I was literally so frustrated, so I just didn't do it. And then Barbara and I got together, and she guided me through, and it's going great. So if anybody wants to join me and Barbara, too, on OnlyFans, mine is onlyfans.com/Shauna Sand Lamas.
Yeah.
And Barbara, what's yours?
onlyfans.com/Barbara Moore.
Yeah,
okay.
I just wanted Shauna Sand, but they took it off my Twitter, and my Twitter for so long has been Shauna Sand Lamas, and I couldn't figure out how to change it, so I just left it. But I would like it to be just a little bit shorter, but that's okay. So
yeah, that's
okay.
What it is.
Shauna
and
Sand
we are
Lamas.
we're very easy to find, so thanks for that plug. And that's the next thing I was going to do after you told us, and I think I know what the biggest compliment you get, but I want to hear it from you, from the fans. What is the biggest compliment that they point out mostly with you?
The biggest compliment?
That you get from your fans.
Is this something physical, or is this?
Yeah, physical. I would say, I mean, obviously it's a given with your body and you got the most fantastic natural tan, but I would say your eyes. You have the most beautiful blue eyes.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the compliment I get the most. I was thinking, is it my waist? Yeah.
And by the way,
my nipples. I don't know. My
I have
my
a question.
eyes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You know, do you remember? I don't know if you remember this or not, but I bought a. I don't know if you remember this or not. I think it was. I bought a box of lollipops, and apparently it was Halloween. Do you remember this, Barbara?
Yes. You wanted us to all say, hey,
okay.
Listen to Life After Happiness,
right.
and we'll give you a
And
lollipop.
apparently what happened was that Barbara, I think, had a kitten outfit or a cat outfit or something. And you had an extra cat outfit. And I thought the idea was that you and Barbara were going to dress up as cats and that you were going to go hand out lollipops. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. I think actually the lollipop thing just appered on Barbara's Facebook, like random. You know how it goes back
1 year later.
time?
Shauna, that was exactly 1 year later that we were, and we still that we promised Johnny we would wear our cat suits and hand out the lollipop.
So, do you think you guys are ever going to do that?
Yes, we are. I actually have the cat suit. Barbara sent it to me.
Okay,
Remember, Barbara?
we'll
I have the twin outfit.
Oh, yeah. And we always help each other. Like, if I get something great, you know, I will refer you and vice versa. And just on your birthday, I was able to do something like that, that made me so happy to do something like that on your birthday, September 2nd this year.
I know. And I got to celebrate my birthday with Barbara's birthday. We celebrated hers together. We had oysters.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was so much fun.
Well, I can't wait for the day that we can have huge parties again. I felt uncomfortable doing that with the coronavirus lately going on, but someday we're going to have our big, huge bashes again, and it's going to be amazing and wonderful. But also, I wanted to, before we close the show, let everybody else know where else to find you besides OnlyFans. Follow you on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And do you have a website?
I don't have a website, but I have Twitter, and I have Instagram and Facebook and OnlyFans and eBay. So all of not my eBay, but everything else is Shauna Sand Lamas. So it's ShaunasandLamas. And then,
that is good.
And then my eBay link is it was in my Twitter and it was in my Facebook, but I changed that to my OnlyFans link. But if you go into my Facebook, you can find my eBay, which is Shauna Sand Collection. It's an eBay store.
Okay, that's great. And you've got all that covered. Sometimes when you have all of that social media, so many different places that you're running, you don't really need a website, but you can find Shauna in all of those social media places, and then you're going to have this show to share with everybody, and they're going to be able to get some insight on more details that they probably hadn't known. Because I found out a few things I didn't even know about you. I love these interviews.
That's so funny. It's different when you're just sitting down and doing an interview than going about everyday life, because you can really ask me things and like personal things that we don't really talk about, you know.
Yes.
But, no, thank you so much for having me on. I have so much fun doing these shows, and I can't wait to do another one with you guys. And I want a castle, Jonathan. I want a castle. Wherever that person said there's a castle, let me know.
Yeah, I'll find out. Honestly, I don't remember. I remember, honestly, it was one of the Playmates who was talking about there was a castle that she got to be in or something. And I don't know what I'm going to look into that.
Yeah,
let me know. Right, Barbara?
Yes. Yeah, that is an interesting thing that you've heard, Johnny. That's the craziest question. Okay. Wow. Well, we had such a wonderful hour talking to you and getting to know you better. And we're so excited to do more shows with you. And also, thank you very much. From the very beginning, since I really started Life After Happiness, you have been there more than anybody, always there you came and got your chakras cleansed. You've called in many times to talk to our psychic counselor, and we just appreciate your support so much, Shauna.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my
Thanks,
pleasure.
Shauna.
You're welcome, Jonathan and Barbara. I have so much fun with you guys, your family, and I'm really honored to be on your show. So, till next time, guys.
Yeah, with that said, thank you, everybody. And in about an hour, you're going to be able to hear this show again. We're going to be posting it all over social media, and we're going to promote this show so you can hear it. You can listen to it anytime you want, and you can find all of our other shows at the same time on Life, Laughter, Happiness YouTube channel. So thank you, everybody, for listening, and please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and Shauna Sand as well. Thank you so much, Shauna. This was fun.
Thanks, Barbara. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Yes. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night. Bye.